Ready, hot!
Now the head football coach from the University of Oklahoma, Stoops.
Thank you, Michael. Welcome everyone again. Here we go again, starting another season. I'm sure fans and people around the country are all excited about it. I know all us coaches and players around the country are equally fired up to finally have a chance to compete against someone else other than running into each other and get ready to play and start another season here. We're heading into the UTEP game. I feel like our guys have really done an excellent job here in the last several weeks of going through camp in a positive way. And other than the early injury to Tyler Evans and the inability of Ben Habron to play, outside of that, we really, for the most part, have kept everyone fairly healthy. So we've had a few ankles here or there, but everybody, for the most part, has gone through it pretty well and makes our offensive line just a little bit more thin. But I do feel the quality of players that are there will be good and positive. I feel offensively, Landry Jones, I feel has improved. His throwing, he's throwing the ball really well, very accurate. I think the ball's getting there quicker. He's more mobile. He's really worked hard on that since last spring and summer of just being able to run and avoid some pressures and keep some plays alive. And I've noticed it really through camp. I feel like our receivers have really come along. The addition with Kenny Stills being back, the addition of Justin Brown from Penn State has really helped that group. Justin's an excellent player, very talented, and has a lot of maturity and toughness to him and competitiveness, making tough plays. To go also with Trey McTwire, who has shown through the spring and summer a consistent ability to do that. Some young guys have stepped up, new guys, Sterling Shepard, LaColton Bester, Deron Neal, all those guys will also, contribute and play. Just going through running backs, Dom appears to be back to his normal self. I kind of said that on my Big 12 call-in show earlier, press conference not press conference, but just, telephone conference that I said Dom and the good Lord may be the only ones that know whether he's 100% or not, but he sure looks it to me in all the, the sessions we've been in. And then to go with them, Brennan Clay's been a mainstay. Roy Finch as well will go between slot and running back. But Damian Williams has really been impressive and will definitely, get a bunch of snaps as well at the running back position. Let's see. Defensively, I feel tight ends, Geno Grisham has been a great addition to that whole group. Those guys will all play and split time in there. And then defensively, I feel like we've made, some good progress overall with the consistency we've practiced with in some of the scrimmages. We've got some experience and senior leadership up front, which is positive. Then in the secondary, same thing. All those guys back there, for the most part, have played quite a bit, and I see more consistency in their play. And then at linebacker as well. So I feel like we'll make hopefully can make improvements there. I feel like we have. And then special teams, those guys have been, had really excellent years. A year ago, Tress Way, Michael Honeycutt, Daniel Franklin will do the long snapping. Austin Woods is doing the field goal snapping. Austin has been able to go through all our practices and looks good. So anyway, we're looking forward to going to the Sun Bowl there and playing UTEP. We had a positive experience there a few years ago, playing against an excellent Stanford team. And so our guys, some of them have some familiarity with playing there. So it'll be, like always, hopefully we can be at our best and start the year off in a good way.
Bob, you're ranked number 5 in respect to all the polls, which means people think this team's really talented. Is that a justified rating?
Well, I think we're who knows? You have to go earn it. You have to stay healthy. You have to get a break here or there, and you have to play well and prepare well. I feel like our guys have done that. As far as are we talented, I think we're, I think in today's college football, everybody's pretty similar. Top 10, 15, 20 teams, there's not a whole lot of difference. Usually what makes the difference, maybe more so than talent, who has a little more experience with the talent. So, but in today's game, there's so much parity that everybody's pretty similar.
Bob, what's your confidence level overall on defense? Because you lost so many really good players.
See, I don't see it that way.
Well, you lost Frank Alexander and Ronell Lewis. You lost a great cornerback.
That's not so many, though. I just don't see so many. I guess I'm not arguing with you. I'm just saying, we.
And then Stacy's out.
Well, again, he's out for some of his choices, so that's how it is. The other guys, it's natural to graduate guys at the college level. They're going to leave. I do feel, we replace them with two seniors that have been rotating with Frank and Ronell all along. They've played as many snaps or close to last year as those guys. Are pretty similar. They are always the mainstays, and now in our rotation. So R.J. Washington, David King, or Chuka Engile has really come on, and is ready to step in there and be one of those guys, hopefully. And the guys up, inside, Jordan Phillips really adds a lot to go with those other guys inside. So, are they going to be the same? They have to. We'll see. If they can have the kind of production, that Frank and Ronell did. As far as corners go, Aaron Colvin's every bit the corner Jamel Fleming was. So Aaron, I've got great confidence in.
If Jordan Phillips could step up, would it be better for this defense if David could move back out to defensive end?
I think because of the limited numbers, I guess with some of the guys that are out, I think he's going to have to do some of both. And they work the same techniques every day. So it isn't how are you going to do that? He did it last year and did it well. And playing off a block and using your hands and having, your power angles and those kind of things. Again, they work a lot of the same techniques with each other, with the O-line every day. So I think he's going to have to go in and out at different times.
Is it a fluid situation with Stacy's suspension? Could he come back this year?
We'll see. He's working the process of whether that'll be considered or not.
Coach, this isn't the first time you've mentioned Damian Williams. Is he this year's Dom Whaley?
No, because Dom Whaley will be Dom Whaley, but maybe Damian could, I believe is going to have a positive impact. But again, we've got to get out there, and he's got to demonstrate he's going to, take care of the football. But all signs, appear that he's, he has a chance to really make a difference for us this year.
What's his running style?
He's, I don't know how his style's fairly physical, but he's not, he doesn't, he avoids you pretty well too. But he's a guy that weighs about 210 pounds, about 5'11", so he's got some power to go with, the ability to, to make some people miss him with some speed too.
Bob, who's going to be your kick returners and your holder this year?
Let's see here. Holder is going to be Blake Bell and Tressway. They both do it, and both do it well. And then as far as punt returner will be Justin Brown and Kenny Stills. We'll probably start the first game with Justin Brown. And then kick returners will be Brennan Clay, Roy Finch, Damian Williams, Sterling Shepard, LaColton Bester, all of those guys.
At once?
No, but you know how it is, just whoever, depending on how many snaps, if one guy can be a little more tired than another guy, and so you're just kind of trying to get the guy that's, most reliable first, and then who's the freshest.
Do you expect to return many kickoffs? I would assume you don't expect the opposition to return, getting to move up 5 yards. I mean, it seems like just kick it in the end zone or out. And
Sure. It'll be interesting, I guess, just to see how that goes with everyone's kickers. But, hopefully we're kicking it in a little more consistently than we did a year ago.
I know you're trying to be careful with Dominic and keep his best interest at heart. So are you going to put him on a pitch count, so to speak, in this first game?
I don't know if I think it's always let's just see how it goes. I don't know that there's a specific pitch count to start with. He's feeling good, so we'll just kind of see how it goes.
Hey Bob, have you ever obviously the Blake Bell last year, you had a lot of success in the short yardage situations. Has Landry ever come to you and asked to stay in any of those plays or any of those situations?
I think he'd like to always stay in, but I don't, that's not his style to run the power, to run the counter. Blake just has a better feel for running up in there in tight spots, and I don't, that isn't a knock on him. That's just, I don't want to see him do it, to be quite honest with you. Landry isn't 255, 60 pounds. It's a little different body.
Coming out of games, though, do you feel like that? Obviously, wants a team to win. You want the team to win. I get that, but is there situationally? You think that bothers him coming out of games?
Well, I think he said that any competitor would want to stay. Has it been an issue? No, and it won't be an issue.
What are the difficulties that come with not only playing a late game, 8:30 there, 9:30 here, but it being the season opener when the guys will probably be?
There aren't any.
No. How do you want them to spend their day?
Well, we'll manage it between meals and meetings and go to the stadium and pace yourself.
Bob, what have you seen from Javon Harris that leads you to be? It sounds like you guys are pretty optimistic about him, and will he actually line up at a different position this year?
No, he'll play at the strong safety position, and he has done really well. What I see is he's just more fluid. He's been consistent through the spring and summer and covering and making plays, being where he needs to be, and I've just seen it over and over. Now through a lot of practices when you look at all of spring and all of summer. So I just like a lot of guys, the more they play, the better they get, and I think that's been the case for sure with Javon.
Bob, it seemed, with Mike being back, it seemed like there were people think that he's the savior of the defense. Everything changed because of him. Isn't that a lot of pressure on Mike?
Well, that's probably, sure. But you know what? There's a lot of pressure on every, defensive coordinator and a team that everybody expects to win championship all the time. And there's a lot of pressure on, Josh Heupel and Jay Norvell as well. So, I mean, a guy can make a difference to a degree, but ultimately, players still have to make plays on every, both sides of the ball. You still have to perform. You could cover something all week and get out there, and the player knows what's coming, and if he's not capable of making the play when the moment comes, it doesn't matter, how much you covered it. So
he said he's simplifying things. Could you see that last year, that things were more complex?
Well, whether it's complex or not performing at a level or whatever, there's all kind of reasons why. But obviously, in a few games, we didn't play nearly, like I feel we're capable of, and so that's everybody's fault.
One thing Mike said back on media day was that when he went through last year's game video, he would see guys thinking on the field, and that wasn't a good thing. They needed to be reactive playing. Have you seen an alleviation of that they're reacting more so in practice?
To a degree, sure, but we haven't played a game yet, so.
Bob, it seems like Kenny Still's biggest contributions in the last couple of years have come down the field, big plays down the field. I know Ryan was playing the slot, but when you look at him in the slot now, is he kind of taking one for the team a little bit because he has been such a deep threat for this offense?
Well, Kenny will still, have his share of deep balls thrown to him, and at times, depending on the sets we're in, can still be outside once in a while too. So I think, we still hope to get him, some shots as well. And sometimes the guy inside, has a chance to get more balls.
Is it part of him being inside is that it helps Landry too because he's your most experienced guy?
Yeah, and he has the best feel in there, I think. He has the best feel in the route running that's required in there. I think he, has the best feel for doing it and executing it. And I think, too, I'm excited, Sterling Shepard really has a special feel in there also.
Bob, can you address the importance of leadership and that it has to come from more than just you guys and maybe Landry's development in that area?
Yeah, he's always, we've got a bunch of guys, I feel, this year that have really, through camp have really demonstrated a lot of good leadership. But Landry, with the experience and maturity he has, really demonstrates it on a daily basis. And then, the other captains that have been picked have really stepped up and have been more vocal and, along with some other guys, also have R.J. Washington, even though not a captain, has really been positive that way and bringing guys along, and Tom Wart and, so on and on. It's been a positive thing with some of the guys.
The last couple of years, you've had a defensive lineman really break out. Price Macon is a senior, and then last year with Frank. Is RJ a guy that could have a similar type breakout year in his senior season?
He could, possibly, yes. RJ, even a year ago, he had a lot of good games, where batted balls. He probably led our team in tip balls and things like that. So it could be, but I'm excited about the other guys too.
A few years ago, told us about a sense of entitlement that you felt had crept into the program, and that got flushed out or washed out or whatever. What kind of characteristics did you notice that may have raised some red flags with you at that time?
Well, just probably overall, just not paying attention to too many little things and too many discipline issues that I had to give.
Is there any fear that the discipline issues is what I was kind of pointing at, that a lot of discipline issues that have piled up over the last 12 months, 18 months, that some of that has crept back into the program?
No, because probably a big part of them are gone.
That was going to be my follow-up. So how do you address that?
Well, removal. So at a certain point.
Bob, have you heard back on Jalen Saunders or Cortez Johnson?
No, we're hoping to hear tomorrow. Actually, we don't have any. Cortez isn't gonna play this year. So, Jalen, we're hoping to hear something tomorrow. So when we do, I will say something.
Is it a sign that you're optimistic because he's doing so much in practices?
No, I don't think it'd be fair for me to say optimistic. I guess you just never know, But you want to. He gets enough in there that if he's able to play, then we'll have him prepared to play.
Is he lined up more inside or outside?
Inside.
What's your tight end situation?
Those guys are, Gino's been a real positive there. I just noticed the last couple of days in a goal line set, he's made a couple of nice, tough, goal line catches for touchdowns that were, one was really tough to make. So he's really come on. Gino with, and then, Brandon Green and Taylor McNamara, all those guys are, all of them do a little something better than another, and maybe all combined, Gino might do it all, the best overall. But so they're in different situations. They'll all contribute and help.
Were you lined Millard up at all in a 2?
Oh yeah, Trey once in a while he'll be in that H-back spot moving around, or so and Trey continues to be one of the best athletes we have.
Is this week a lot different for you guys as a staff because you're battling against all summer people have been telling them that they'll just kill their first opponent, and you worry about guys not taking things seriously? Or
I don't think so, because I feel that we are very aware that if you're not at your best, anyone can beat you, and that we're anxious to play, and we're anxious to see what are our opportunities going to be this year. How well can we play? So we know there's an unknown there, and we have to go play and prove it and get better. So I think our guys are anxious to play and to start developing through the year, to hopefully make improvements as we go.
Is that a lesson that was learned through last season, I guess? Anybody can beat you. And
well, last season or any season, right? I mean,
players have
we
mentioned
didn't.
Texas Tech a lot.
Right.
What's that?
The players have mentioned Texas Tech to us a lot today.
Well, I mean, fine. Well, whatever they say. I mean, I don't feel you have to learn that lesson. It's every year. It's evident, you know, when you look at college football, all the parity there, you see all kind of people get beat. So anyway, that's.
Bob, you often talk about how
Tech can beat us anytime. So all of a sudden, what, Tech can't beat us? Sure they can.
Well,
You know,
they
so
did
I don't
have a
look
great
at it that
season
way.
after they beat
Well,
you,
again, I think that shows some poor mindset of our players if they feel that way. In the end, you got to be prepared to play.
I'm
And
not saying your players said they weren't a good team. I'm just saying they're pointing to the fact that they didn't play well that night. They didn't get off to a fast start, and it cost them.
yeah, I mean, exactly. You have to play well, and I think we're anxious to play is what I'm saying, and hopefully play well, not just go out there. I mean, you know, it's you've done all this work. You finally get to play. I would think you'd look forward to it.
Is there an eagerness to see if you guys are as good as everyone says
Sure.
you are?
I'm always very eager, you know, especially in the first couple of games to see how we'll be.
What
you
freshman?
often talk about how every team is different. Kind of as a follow-up to that, what do you see as the personality of this team?
Haven't
What's
seen
your
it yet.
gut tell you?
Haven't played. Well, I mean,
you
I
can't
feel good
tell.
about it. I started that way, saying I felt they've done a really good job through camp, you know, and showing up for practice, meetings, and, you know, but, you know, everybody wants to know. We haven't played.
How you feel about your offensive line? You had the two guys missing and had some position battles. Are you pretty solid on your starting five?
Yeah, I think really, you know, Adam Shedd, Gabe Eichert, Bronson Irwin inside, and then the three tackles really, to me, they're all starters between Tyrus and Darryl and Lane Johnson. I mean, to me, you're splitting hairs. They're all, you know, I think they all do a really good job. So that'll be a good rotation.
What true freshmen are definitely going to play?
Sterling, Deron Neal, Taylor McNamara, who else? See my sheet here. I'm missing somebody. Ty Darlington.
McGuire still true freshman.
Yeah, Trey McGuire. Yep. Defensively, Gary Simon, Charles Tapper, Michael Anoha, definitely play. Eric Stryker. I don't know if I'm missing a Zach Sanchez, probably. Am I missing anyone? I don't know. I think those are some of the ones that pop up.
What makes Tapper Noha ready as true freshman?
Talent and size, and they've had a really a great work ethic and ability to pick things up and to play hard. But they're two guys that are, you know, 250 pounds, and they've got range to them, and they're doing a good job with it.
When you were recruiting in Noha, he was so thin and new to the game, really. Did you expect that he would be able to be ready to play this fast?
Yeah, just because of what athletic ability and how much he liked to work. You could tell just every time you talked to him or saw him, he was getting in the weight room or getting out of the weight room, and with a big frame, you know, he's really pushed himself.
So how good do you think he can be?
We'll see. I think both those guys have a chance to be really good.
Have the injuries to the offensive line affected your expectations for the running game, especially having Dom coming off an injury?
No, I expect us to be better in the running game, and hopefully that'll be the case.
Is Justin Brown fully assimilated in the offense?
Yes. Justin, very bright young man that's really picked things up well, and so, yeah, Justin's ready to go.
McGuire had a great spring, your explanation, and he apparently had a great offseason too. This camp, has he picked it up right where he left off? Has he been good in camp?
Absolutely. He makes as good a catches and competitive catches of anyone we've had. With people have their hands on the ball, and he just has a great knack for getting it. He just he's got those strong hands.
Let me ask you, Sterling Shepard, style of a Broyles,
He is. He's kind of a sturdier Ryan Broyles in that he's got those kind of quickness and inside moves, but he's just so much stronger, body wise.
Is Dwyer a starter? Will he start on Saturday?
Oh yeah.
The last 2 or 3 years, Tom would talk to us about how much he relies on Travis just because of his experience and how he can cover things up. He doesn't have him for the first time. If you've seen any kind of transition, just for Tom specifically, without that sort of safety net there?
Well, I don't know that I've seen it other than, here's a guy now that's played a lot. If you don't know what you're doing by now, you're in trouble. So you don't need someone to line you up at linebacker or to tell you what to do. At his age, that shouldn't be, and it hasn't been. So I think he's just taking it on, obviously, himself, that he needs to be the one to help tell young guys what they need to do.
Bob, Franks, Reynolds, McGee, whoever else is on that list, any timetable on when they might be put back on the ready to play?
No time soon.
A few minutes ago, you were referring to the preseason and guys, being leaders and whatnot, and you said everybody showed up to meetings on time. After last year and after all the, dismissals and removals or whatever, did you have to remind guys of that? Did you have to remind guys this is the way we do things here?
Well, yeah, sometimes you do.
And as a reminder, I guess, is the removals? I mean, is that, hate to say it, but is that like holding up an example for these guys in 2012, how to behave and how to?
Well, hopefully they're smart enough to know if you want to be here, there's a certain expectation of what we expect you to do and what not to do, and it's your choice.
This team's got it figured out to this point?
Well, it's our first game week.
Work in progress?
Yep.
Bob, another new rule, the helmet rule. Have you done any more admonishment about guys making sure they get every chin strap buckled?
We've been really since the rule came out through spring, summer, just anyone whose helmet came off in practice, that we made a note of it and that the managers were checking it, why and how, to figure out, if something's wrong with it. So we've been very diligent about that to hopefully minimize it.
What have you found to be the reason?
Well, I don't know, sometimes it's whether it's the buckle, sometimes how much air is in the helmet. I just wonder even about what you can't do anything about. The design probably isn't changing, but back in the day when most of us played, you had to really wrench that thing, pull it open to get it over your head. Now they just slide it right on. They don't make them that way anymore. So I don't know, but I'm, so all different reasons. Some of it you just can't avoid.
It seems like 20, 30 years ago, helmets didn't come off hardly ever. Now they.
Well, I told you, you
they
couldn't get them off. You used to have to get a buddy to push on your shoulders and yank it off your head.
Wonder if that was good for you.
Wasn't too good for Dean and I don't know.
Bob, you seem like back on media day, you had at least kind of looked at the idea of maybe huddling some. Have you given that any more thought?
Not really. But we always can to burn out, clocks and things like that. So, but there's different ways of using the clock without having to huddle too. So I just think we need to be, we need to be productive. If you're going to know huddle, you need to be efficient more than anything in what you're doing.
Bob, how much are you involved in the secondary, actually on the field, working with corners or safeties?
Only to a degree. Like I always have been. I chime in when I feel I need to and watch. But I've got two great coaches with Mike. Really has always done a great job. So I once in a while I do, but I also in meetings, will chime in and talk about it. But I sort of always have, so it's just, but I've got great trust,
I'm sorry. Is the move to left and right from field and boundary that radical?
Not really.
What's
what's
the advantage there?
again, with the number of teams that no huddle, you're not changing from the boundary to the field. I mean, to the end, and at the end of the day, it hasn't, it's not a big deal. In the days, what we always felt, one guy, whether it be run support into the boundary, you just attack differently in the boundary than you are to the field, and guys got familiar with that. With as fast as some people go now, it's just you get caught on the wrong side, so you might as well just stay there. And anyway. But also, and Dean, your question, Ryan Walters, who's Mike's secondary coach at Arizona, is our graduate assistant. And I got Ryan's a great coach. So, there's probably less for me to have to chime in when they're already on, on it.
Any chance the athletic department will be putting out a mic'd up of you at a practice?
A mic'd?
One of the mic'd up videos?
I don't think so. Since I haven't had one on, unless somebody snuck one on without me knowing.
Bob, you mentioned a lot of true freshmen that you're going to be putting out on the field on Saturday, and their first collegiate experience is going to be on the road. What have you, other coaches, older players, been telling them about how to handle themselves on the road with it being their first game?
Haven't much. Guys that are playing at this level and here are should be ready for it. So it's really just trust. It's trust your instincts, trust your practice. Work hard to know what to expect as far as your preparation. And then, play hard as much as anything.
No chance. Last time you opened for the Rose at Tulsa, you were really good that year, but it was only 3-0 at halftime. So you don't have anything, you don't talk to you guys?
It's a long time ago, Myron.
Yeah. You're really good that year.
Anybody else?
All right, thanks.